they're not telling. I don't blame them, because if we were to know exactly how much this was going on, it probably would piss us off to the point that they're even allowing these people to travel. Once an American citizen has become radicalized and wants to become an enemy combatant of their home nation, then we got problems, folks. And we probably should limit their ability to move around back in the country. They've got the freedom to leave. I'm not real sure we should let them back in, because we don't know their intention anymore. I firmly believe that once somebody becomes an enemy combatant, that they've essentially renounced their citizenship. I don't think we have to pass laws like Ted Cruz had introduced that would make it easier for Americans to have their citizenship stripped. I think they have officially renounced their citizenship. Now, if they get caught before they do very much and they're facing legal consequences, then obviously they're not going to publicly renounce their citizenship. At that point, they're going to be crying, I'm an American, I'm an American, I'm an American. Give me a lawyer. Don't know that they actually should any longer have that right. But that's not me saying we should pass laws either. Ted Cruz, I think his heart was probably in the right place with this thing. But I get real nervous when we start talking about giving the government any ways or excuses to make it easier to strip citizens of their rights. And the easiest way to strip them of all their rights is to strip them of their citizenship altogether. How scary could that be? How easily could that be abused? How easily could that be twisted? I keep coming back to the simple fact. How dare anyone even utter the words that it's... Why would you do that? Don't get me wrong, I'm on board with the simple idea, the notion of don't go poking a bear. But the truth of the matter in this particular case is that bear should not be there. We should not be facing a threat from within our own borders, somebody that's going to just pick up a shotgun and roll down to a convenience center or a high school gymnasium or a concert event, a theater. We shouldn't have to worry about any place where people are going to gather en masse. Somebody might show up and just start shooting because they don't like what you're saying. They don't like what you're doing. If I started a rock band tomorrow, and just FYI, don't worry, I'm not going to start a rock band tomorrow. If I started a rock band tomorrow and all we did was anti-Islam songs, and then I was giving a concert near Dearborn, Michigan, then yes, obviously, I'd be looking for trouble. I would be looking for so much trouble that I don't think there's any way that I could deny that I was looking to start something. But Dearborn, Michigan is still part of the United States of America. And in the United States of America, I have the freedom to do that, and I should not have to be worried about being gunned down in the street just because I sing a song about Muhammad is a pedophile. Which he was, by the way. That's the bottom line here. This is still the United States of America. And in the state of Texas in particularly, you're not going to get too many people going to be willing to be bullied or back down off of the fact that they've got the right to participate in the freedom of speech. Nor should they. You shouldn't have to even specify, not just in Texas. You should have the same thing going on in New York. You should have the same things going on in California. You should have the same things going on in Ohio, in Michigan, in Kansas, in Utah, in Nebraska. It doesn't matter what part of the country you're in. And in fact, as far as the entire Western world is concerned, whether you're in Canada, whether you're in the UK, whether you're in France, freedom of speech in places that have embraced it, in places where Western civilization has embraced the ideas of personal liberty and freedom of political speech exist, then those places you should be free to express, even if it's completely stupid, even if it is just poking the bear to see what's going to happen. Because ultimately, the way this should play out is exactly the same way that you see this play out with other religions in this country. What happens when you piss off the Christians? They let you know. They say, hey, guys, that's not cool. They typically don't use those words, but it's the message. That's what they send. They let you know they don't like it. But they don't show up to your house with a shotgun ready to blast your head off. Or at least most of them don't. I know a few folks that might. But, you know, I live in a rural area where we have a little bit of the redneckedness going on. Same thing with the Jews. Same thing with the Mormons. The Book of Mormon, for crying out loud, a musical on Broadway. Let me tell you. Don't think there were any Mormons anywhere in the country that were happy about that. Don't remember seeing any of them showing up threatening to blow up the theaters. Here is where you are limited to. In this country, this is where you're at. You show up with guns, you best be ready to become a martyr because you're probably about to. There are parts of this country where you might be able to show up. You can go someplace like Colorado, for example, where they've really brought down their gun laws. You can show up in some places in New York. There's a ton of places in California. Pretty much any place where Democrats, the liberal Democrats, the so-called progressives, any place where they've been in charge for a while and they have their gun-free zones, you can show up at those places. You can take them all out. There's no telling how many you're going to be able to gun down before somebody finally takes you out. But then there are other places that you probably shouldn't show up at if that's what you're going to do. Because just like what we saw in Garland, Texas, the answer of how many people you're going to be able to kill before you get yourself killed, 0. They opened fire. They were shooting. They were hoping to hit people. Number one, obviously, they not a very particularly good shot. But thank goodness. I mean, the one guy they did hit, he's going to be okay. Now, that's not to say that he's happy about it, and it's certainly not to say that I'm condoning the fact that this dude got hurt. But I mean, I don't want to downplay that at all. The dude still got shot. He shouldn't have been shot. But their intention was to do a lot more damage, and that damage was ended. Why? Not because, as certain Democratic elected officials might try and convince you that, who was it, Dianne Feinstein? Well, when the criminal sees that you don't have any guns, they'll just lay their guns down too. Now, the only reason they're going to be laying their guns down is because they're out of ammo and they're moving on to the next weapon. Please stop exposing what a dumbass you are, and stop exposing what a dumbass the people that keep re-electing you are, because they have to be when you say stuff like that publicly and they vote for you again anyway. Yeah, I'm really just not feeling it. I'm really riled up. So, guys, please forgive me for being so crude tonight. Forgive me for being a little... I'm doing the things that I've been trying not to do this year. I've been trying really hard. I've been trying to stay away from the name calling. I've been trying to do the reaching out. But it's not here tonight. Tonight, it's time that people understand there is a real threat. There are people that want to kill you just because you're not the same thing they are. And they are here in this country. Some of them are citizens who have been radicalized. Some of them are people who've slipped across the southern border. Doesn't matter where they came from. All that matters is that they're here. Pam Keller was poking a bear. And the bear showed up. And the bear tried to kill people. A bear that was willing to kill people is not supposed to be here. She proved she was right. That's the one thing I haven't heard anybody other than Pam herself say. She proved that she was right. These two people proved her right. Stop trying to make excuses for them. Stop trying to make excuses for people rioting in Baltimore. Stop trying to make excuses for all the bad behavior we continue to see. Plain and simple, when it comes to the police in Baltimore, if they did wrong, then they should face justice. But as soon as the prosecutor announced that she was charging these 6 officers, the first thing that came to my mind was, God, I hope she's doing this based on evidence. I hope she's looking at the facts. Because in a situation like that, it would be so easy to fold under the political pressure. It would be so easy to let those personal ties that the Fraternal Order of Police in Baltimore keep accusing her of to influence your decision beyond just doing your job. Now, I don't know which it is. I don't know if she's bending to political pressure. I don't know if she's, during the course of the investigation that she's done, that she's looking at the facts and she has enough to bring things to court, which is still a different level than what it's going to take to get a conviction. But if she's there, that's what I hope. I hope justice is being served. Because if she did it for political expediency, then that's not justice. Vengeance is not justice. Mr. Gray's death is tragic. And making eye contact with a police officer is not a crime, nor does it amount to probable cause. Recognizing that Mr. Gray is a known criminal and could possibly be up to some type of criminal activity, well, that might give you a reason to follow him for a little bit to see what's going on. So there is something fishy at that point. Obviously, they've done something wrong to a degree. But was his death the result of actions they've taken? We don't know that yet, and we need to pull back. You're not making your case by tearing down the city. You're just not. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to kind of wrap up tonight. I've been on here for about an hour, and ordinarily I'll do 2 hours. Tonight, I've got to cut it short. So stay with me, and when we come back, we'll wrap things up. I'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Thanks for staying with me through the break. We got to kind of wrap things up, but I wanted to talk about a few other things that were away from this. I I might still need to yell a little more, so I will probably bring this up in some future episodes, future broadcasts as well. But I'm going to leave this alone for now. Bottom line is, today's title was ISIS attack in Texas with a question mark, which means, was it an ISIS attack? I don't think you can really consider this